Welcome to Unit 3. The previous discussions have introduced the elements, fusions and other overlapping and interrelated elements of art in general. In this particular lesson, the types and elements of visual art specifically on sculpture will be discussed. If painting is a two-dimensional, sculpture operates as a three-dimensional art because of its height, width and depth. It uses clay, wood, plastics, stones, glass, wax, ceramics and other materials to create artistic masterpieces through carving, modeling, casting, welding, sewing, assembling, shaping or combining. Over the years, the process of sculpting has continually evolved and expanded, especially at the start of the 20th century. Tools, technology and contemporary works have employed new varieties of materials, schemes, and techniques, making sculpture an important part of the appreciation of human existence. For a long time, sculptures have had various roles and have served numerous purposes, and they continue to do so until now. Early sculptures have been associated with religious beliefs and practices. Sculpted images became the only way to communicate religion to. Commemoration of heroes, kings, leaders and other great men, minting of coins for trade and economic purposes, and expression of ideas and ideals are other functions of sculptures. What is sculpture? Sculpture is a three-dimensional form constructed to represent a natural or imaginary shape. Unique qualities of a sculpture. The following are some unique qualities of a sculpture. Exists in space. Viewed from all sides. Actual space rather than illusion of space. These forms may echo reality, express powerful emotions or communicate ideas. Sculptor. A sculptor is a person obsessed with the form and shape of things, and it's not just the shape of one thing, but the shape of anything and everything, the hard, tense strength, although delicate form of a bone, the strong, solid fleshiness of a beech tree trunk. A sculptor sets out to fill space with original, visually appealing forms. What are the types of sculptures? The following are the basic types of sculpture: freestanding, relief, assemblage, kinetic, welded, use of glass, symbolic. The first one is relief sculpture. These are sculptures formed on a flat surface. The kind of sculpture that does not have a flat horizontal base. It has three types: high relief, low/bas relief, sunken relief. High relief. This is a structural relief in which most of the figure lies on the outside and projects the background by at least half their depth. They are sometimes nearly sculpted in the round. The figures in the sculpture are dramatically raised from the background. Observe the examples in front. Low relief/bas relief. The figures in this type of relief sculpture is at a low level, almost near or close to its base or background. The figures are slightly raised from surface of the background. Last one is sunken relief. The relief sculpture in which the highest point in the carved sculpture is below the level of the surface, leaving the background more elevated than the actual picture or image. This is also known as the incise or intaglio relief. The next type is called freestanding. Also known as the sculpture in the round, freestanding sculpture is likely the most common and the most known type of sculpture. A freestanding sculpture can be seen and appreciated from any angle because it does not have a back surface like relief sculpture. A freestanding is a kind that can independently stand in space. It has a flat horizontal base. All its sides contribute to the overall form of the sculpture. Another one is kinetic sculpture. This is considered as a sculpture in motion because the entire sculpture or some parts of the sculpture are moving with the wind or are vibrating with the surrounding air. This contains moving parts and can be set in motion by air currents or a motor. Kinetic sculpture is similar to freestanding sculpture because of independence from a surface. However, its most distinct feature is that this type of sculpture moves, either by mechanical power, wind or water power. Movement is the basic element of kinetic sculpture. Another type is assemblage sculpture. This is a creative modern form of sculpture that commonly uses scavenged objects and disparate elements. This sculpture is formed by putting together materials such as found objects, pieces of art, sponges, wood scraps, and other materials in unique ways to create a sculpture. Another one is welded sculpture. Creating these sculptures involve the process of connecting sheets of metal together by using an acetylene or electric torch. Most sculptures of Eduardo Castrillo are welded sculpture. We also have symbolic sculpture. A good example of symbolic sculpture is the interpretation of Abdul Mari Imau on ochre design, which is a Maranao design tradition that is typically used in wood carving. Imau produced 4 contemporary series of the ochre, the Sari Manak, the Sari Mosque, the Sari ochre and calligraphic sculptures. Use of glass. Ramon Orlina and Imelda Palapal started the use of glass in sculpture. Orlina used glass in table pieces, murals and sculptures which are usually unified into a framework. This time, we will have the elements of sculpture. The first is space, the area above, below, around, and within an object. Positive space is where the subject is placed, while negative space is the surrounding area of the subject. Line, the outline of a form where planes meet. Wires, wood, and metal rod are examples of linear materials. Third, plane, the surface area of a sculpture. Plywood, cardboard, plastic sheets are examples of planes. Volume and mass. Volume is the size, bulk and dimension of an object, while mass implies the weight. A stone has both volume and mass because it has size, bulk, dimensions and weight. A balloon has volume but not mass because of the absence of weight. Shape, the outer limit of a form. It is the totality of the mass line between its contour. Value, this refers to the light and the shadow of the subject. Texture, it is the feel of the object, the surface quality of an object. It refers to the roughness or smoothness of art. Texture could be experienced through touch or through sight. Lastly, we have color. In 3D design, this refers to the actual color of the art piece that greatly impacts the total effect to its viewers. This time, we will have the basics of architecture. Architecture is both a science and an art because it combines artistic sensibility as well as scientific method in its application. The scope of architecture spans from little details of design and construction to urban planning and landscape architecture. Architecture is derived from the Greek word architekton, which means chief and builder. It is the process of planning, designing and constructing buildings and other physical structures. Architecture is considered to be the mother of all arts because it draws many disciplines all together. Architectural design is a primary area that encompasses architecture as an art because of its creative and artistic manipulation of elements like mass, space, volume, texture, and color to achieve aesthetic and functional end. And the science part is in the scientific method of applying concepts to create physical structures. There are 3 kinds of architecture according to their functions: interior design, landscape architecture, and urban or city planning. Observe the videos in front. What can you say about it? Common materials used in architecture are rock materials, sand, gravel, cement, clay and stone, wood, metal, steel, iron bars, etc., synthetic materials, glass and plastics, and hybrid materials, adobe and bricks. Like painting, sculpture and other visual arts, architecture has the general elements of art: space, line, shape, form, color, value and texture. In this lesson, we have discussed the types and elements of sculpture. We also shortly discussed architecture, its types and elements. That is end of Unit 3, Lesson 1.3.3 and Lesson 1.3.4. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.